Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and behind the camera is the lovely Cindy, and we're on the road with Mickey. Today we are in Old Salem, North Carolina. It's over in Winston-Salem, and we are walking across the bridge that crosses over Main Street. And we are on our way to just navigate and just explore some of Old Salem. And I thought I would just say hi and welcome you to Old Salem. We are right now still in the midst of COVID, so some things are still not open. You know, the visitor center is not open, so we can't go in there. And we are also not sure what's open in the historic part. Old Salem was created for the Moravian church, for their members to have their businesses. And so, what?
Established in 1766.
It was established in 1766. And so, it's a very historic place, and it's a really cool place to visit. So we're just gonna see what we get and what's open, and we'll take some pictures and shoot a little video. But thanks.
Go.
Hey everyone, this is Mike again with On the Road with Mickey. I'm standing in front of the Salem Tavern Museum, which was built in 1784 and is part of the tour if you come to see Old Salem while it's open for the visitors to see the inside the museums and so forth. The interesting thing about this is that our understanding is that George Washington stayed here at some point during his life, and we're not sure exactly when. I don't remember, but it's kind of cool. And right next to it is the Tavern, the Salem Tavern, which is now a restaurant, and you can actually eat there. Cindy and I have actually eaten there, and it's really good. I think I want to say I had pot roast, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so good.
And I had chicken pie.
And Cindy had chicken pie. So it's worth coming out and eating at the restaurant when they're reopened. Hey, it's Mike with On the Road with Mickey. We are in front of the Single Brothers house, which was built in 1769 and had an addition in 1786. And the way the Moravian culture was, if you were single and you reached a certain age, you came and lived with all the other brothers who were single, and you lived in this house. And you did your chores together, and you did your work, and all that sort of stuff. And so once you became married, then you would move out of the Single Brothers house and you would move in with your wife. But there's a whole line of story to it, and I don't remember all the details, but we are in front of the Single Brothers house. And as you can see, there were a lot of single brothers. This is Mike signing out. Now we are in front of the Single Sisters house, which was built in 1785, had an addition in 1819, and this was built for the female sisters that were single in the Moravian culture. And so that's where this is. Now it is part of the Salem College. It's their administration building and their bookstore. But just like the Single Brothers house, the Single Sisters house had their own place to live as well once they grew up to a certain age and moved out from their parents' house. And that's where we are. You know, once we get done with all this COVID mess and things reopen, we're gonna come back and maybe give you some pictures and talk about it once it's reopened. So look forward to that. Thanks. Hey everyone, this is Mike, and we are at God's Acre, which is the cemetery for the Moravian Church for this area of Winston-Salem. And it was formed in 1771. As you can see, it's a very sacred place. You know, there's several sections to it, and there's a section for the men and for the women and for the children and for
Five Moravian churches.
5 Moravian churches that bury their dead here.
Make up the area.
The way it works, you don't actually get buried with your family. So, you know, Mr. Shaw here is next to Mr. Crutchfield, and they were not related, you know, other than being brothers in Christ, you know.
They're buried chronologically.
And they're buried chronologically too, Cindy said.
Yeah.
So it's just a really peaceful place to come visit, and it just reminds us of God's power, you know, and His glory.
And George Hamilton IV, the Grand Ole Opry star, is buried here.
That's right. So this is God's Acre, and you can see it stretches all the way out for quite a ways. All right, so thank you guys for this tour, for joining me on the tour. Thank you guys for joining us. This is Mike from On the Road with Mickey. You know, as you can see, we got the covered bridge behind us. It was built in 1998 because Main Street's a fairly busy road. But you know, we just kind of scratched the surface here today with our visit of Old Salem, and there's a lot to see and do. So if you are in the area and are interested in historical things like this, then I urge you to take a look at it, maybe buy tickets for you and your family. Come visit it, because it's really kind of cool, and it's a neat way, and everything that they're doing with the ticket sales is to help preserve the history of it. So it's really worth seeing when it's open and live. So I really recommend it, highly recommend it to everyone to come visit. But this is Mike from On the Road with Mickey. I almost said On the Road with Cindy, because Cindy's my videographer today. But this is Mike from On the Road with Mickey, signing out and saying we'll see you on the road.